Welcome to Only the Greatest, where we make fitness simple, fun, and most importantly, effective. My name is Philip, this is Denver, and today we're gonna be showing you 4 exercises and some variations of each one that are specific for runners. Running has gotten super popular recently. We really like running ourselves because it's so easy, right? Part of our brand message is simple. So running is as simple as put your shoes on, go for a run. I started running last year, ran my first half marathon, a couple of 10Ks, even ran a full marathon. Denver just ran her first 10K, got 3rd place.
In my division.
In her age group, which is really great. So we're just kind of getting our running career started as well. And so we want to bring you some exercises that will help you in the gym to help you improve your running. So the first exercise we're going to show you is the step up. I love step ups for runners, especially someone that's just getting started in running, because it is a nice unilateral exercise, meaning only one side of your body is working at a time, that anyone can do. It can be scaled up to make it more difficult, it can be scaled down to make it easier. And as you can imagine, when you're running, you're going right, left. So only one side of your body is working at a time. So any exercise that replicates that is gonna be very beneficial. What we don't wanna do here is as Denver comes up, she doesn't wanna push off the ground with this right foot. She wants all of her weight to be loaded up over this top leg, not only on the way up, but also on the way down. So when she comes up, she's gonna smash the box with that left foot and then control her weight backwards. She's gonna fight gravity and not fall backwards. And if this feels super easy, 2 ways to make it harder. We can either make the box taller, or she could just hold dumbbells by her side as well. So standard step up, great exercise for runners. The second way that we can do step ups is what I call a negative step up. I've seen different names for these. I like to call it a negative step up. The starting position is actually at the top. So Denver's gonna start at the top. She's gonna come down real slow, never letting her weight transition over into that right foot. The weight is staying over this left the whole time, and she's having to support her body weight on that left side. A lot of ankle stability going on here as well. These are pretty tough. That's why we're using a shorter box. So guys, try out these 2 different versions of step ups if you're trying to start your running journey. Before we move on to the next exercise, we need to talk about why strength training is important for running at all. So Denver, I'll ask you, why do you think the strength training is so important for someone that also wants to run far, run fast?
It's good for injury prevention. It's good for running efficiency. It helps you with your posture and your overall running performance. And then also it can help you get that strength to really power through and put up some speed.
Yeah, for sure. And anytime we talk about injury prevention, I like to remind people that preventing injuries is an exponential effect, not only physically, but psychologically as well. I know myself, when I've been hurt in the past, not only do I stop progressing forward, but you even move back a little bit. It feels like you're starting over, and then that gets in your mind, and then maybe you never even get back to it. And we never want that to happen. So just remember that injury prevention in the gym, on the track, on the street, wherever you're running, anything that you're doing, injury prevention is key. And these exercises that we're talking about today are going to keep you safe and keep you moving and progressing forward in your running journey. All right, guys, the next exercise we're gonna show is more on the posterior side. We're gonna be working those glutes. Denver was just talking about power generation and speed. A lot of that, when you're out on the track, out on the road running, a lot of that power and speed is gonna come from the glutes. And that's kind of what we're gonna focus on here. So the glute bridge is a great exercise for people of all fitness levels. Whether you're super advanced or you're just getting started, there's ways to progress and regress this exercise. We're gonna show you that right now. We're gonna start with an easier version and then show you how to work it up over time. So glute bridge, pretty simple. You're just gonna lay on the ground. You do want to make sure you got some good core engagement here. Denver's gonna get a little pelvic tilt going on as well, which is gonna help her flatten that back out. What I like to do here when I tell people to get into position is she's gonna lay her hands down and bring your heels back to about where your fingertips can touch them. And that gets you in a nice setup position. From here, so you get that core engagement we talked about, drive your feet through the ground, lift those hips up, squeeze the glutes to the top. Nice, slow, and controlled on the way down. We'll do one more, perfect, and then all the way down. A couple ways you can make this harder. The first one I'm gonna show you is just to do it one leg at a time. So if the regular version of this is too easy, you can do 15, 20 reps and you have no issues with it. We're gonna go 1 foot up in the air, and then she's just gonna drive only off this single leg. So a couple reps, everything is exactly the same. The pelvis is staying nice and level, nice and straight. Good core involvement helps her do that. Another way that we can make this harder and increase the range of motion is to bring a box into the equation. So I'm gonna grab this box right here. And what this is gonna do, and we can do this bilaterally, 2 sides, or unilaterally, 1 side with an elevated foot. And what that's gonna do, go ahead and come up. You see how much bigger range of motion we have here now, right? So anytime you add range of motion, it makes the exercise more difficult. She can also do this one side at a time. So let's go 1 foot up. Yep, and now she's isolating that left side as she's doing the glute bridge. Next up, we have squats. Everybody knows about squats. You know the benefits, full lower body exercise here. We're gonna show you 3 different variations, starting with body weight first, which will be the easiest. Then we're gonna work into a goblet squat with a little bit of weight, and then we'll work into a barbell back squat as well. The fundamentals are the same across the board. We're just adding load, adding weight over each one. So we're getting to just a regular body weight squat. Denver's gonna have her feet set about shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider. Her toes ever so slightly pointed out. She's gonna make sure her weight is distributed evenly through her feet, not in the toes, not in the heels. She's gonna pretend that there's a really low chair behind her as she comes down nice and slow. Feet stay flat, break 90 degrees, and then stand straight up. So you hear a lot of people talk about weight in the heels, weight in the heels. I'm not a huge fan because I see, especially in people that are just getting started, that it throws your weight around, like your weight goes back and then it comes back up at the front. We just want a nice even weight distribution to help you stay nice and balanced. And when that body weight squat feels too easy, or a body weight squat is just a warm up, we can step it on up to a goblet squat. And a goblet squat is simply a regular squat where Denver's just gonna hold a weight right in front of her. And so this weight is gonna be in the front now on a goblet squat. And I really like goblet squats, front squats in general. Front squats with the bar can be really hard. So using the dumbbell is nice because it forces good core engagement as well. And so as she comes up and down, staying nice and tight, and you can obviously progress this weight up and even into the point where your legs might be strong enough, but your arms are no longer strong enough to hold onto the weight. And that's probably a good sign that you're ready to move up into a back squat with the barbell. So here with the barbell, same principle. She's gonna go ahead and hop in there. She's gonna set the bar right across her shoulders here on the back side. Everything's exactly the same. Now, the biggest reason this is so much harder is now the weight's on the back. So as you can imagine, since the weight's on the back, as she comes down, it's very easy to overly lean forward. But because she has such great form here and she's so strong, she can get down nice and easy with that bar on her back, real deep, and coming straight up. So guys, start with the body weight squat if you've never done it before. Work your way into a goblet squat. Once you're comfortable with that, work your way into a back squat, and you can start slowly but surely adding weight over time. All right, guys, last exercise we have for you today is gonna be the RDL, Romanian Deadlift. That's gonna be another glute-focused exercise, glute and hamstrings. This is a little bit more advanced, so if you're not ready for this one yet, no problem, just stick with the glute bridge. This is a progression of the glute bridge that we're gonna be doing here. This exercise is a great one, but the form can be a little bit tougher. So if you're just getting started, maybe hold off on this one. You can do it bilaterally, both legs, or unilaterally, one leg, which we're gonna show you here today. So we're gonna be doing dumbbells. You can use a barbell for this as well, but dumbbells are a really good place to be. The main thing with any type of deadlift, but especially the RDL, just make sure that you understand that it is a hip dominant exercise, where squats are knee dominant. RDLs here in any type of deadlift is gonna be more hip dominant. So you see there's less bend in her knees, creating more stretch in the glutes and hamstrings. So as those hips go back, we're getting a good stretch through the glute and the hamstrings as well, all the way down, keeping the back nice and straight. The shoulders are pinned back, so we have this nice straight line from the hip all the way to the back of her head. You notice she's not overlooking up. You hear that a lot in deadlifts and squats. We don't want to overly look up. We're creating this nice straight plane of motion. So if the double leg version feels nice and doable, you could try the single leg version. So there's a couple different ways to do this. You'll see a lot of people doing it with that back foot coming off the ground, like really testing the balance. What we're gonna be doing here for today's purposes is keeping that foot on the ground, but I personally call it a V stance. Some people call it a single leg. I've heard it called a kickstand, however you wanna call it. But we're gonna have the dumbbell in one side and we're having extra knee bend. You notice how she's back on her toe here with a lot of bend in this back leg. So there's a lot of bend in her left leg right now. So there's no pressure going on this left side. All the tension is here on her right leg, that right hamstring, right glute, getting a good stretch, keeping that same nice straight back, good core involvement to keep that low back safe and really isolating that right side. If you're running and you're not doing these exercises in the gym, you're doing yourself a disservice. We talked earlier about the power generation. We talked about the injury prevention. We showed you how to do them. So guys, get in the gym, try out these exercises. If you need help with them, if you're just starting your running journey, or maybe you're into it and you've never, spent time in the gym before, you've never made strength training a priority, we're here to help you out. So just, if you need help with something or you have questions, comment below. Our gym is in Webster. We're here to help Houston make its way up the ladder of health and fitness. And that means all areas of fitness, from runners to lifters. We want you to be the best at both. That didn't really go though. Way out.